Well, hello there, and welcome to my first tank review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the KV-2, probably one of my favorite tier 6 heavy tanks in the entire game. Mostly because it's just it's too much fun to drive this thing, and how you can make this thing work, and how exactly and why exactly it is so much fun to drive. Well, just stick around and find out. Well, what is the KV-2? The KV-2 is a tier 6 Russian heavy tank that leads on into the IS-4. It has a choice of two guns, the 6 gun here and the 152mm. I probably don't have to tell you which gun you should take on this thing. It's the 152mm. This gun is, it makes this tank so much worthwhile. It is probably the best gun on any tank at tier 6. Is ridiculous. But what's the rest of the tank looking like, you might ask? Well, pretty shit. This is practically just a driving gun, and not a very good one at that. Practically no armor on this thing. I mean, you have a tier 5 hull, same hull as on the KV-1, and your turret is practically just a big unangled box with no armor really. Same thing kinda goes for your speed, because you don't have any. This thing is a heavy tank by definition, and yeah, that also makes it ridiculously slow. You're not gonna get anywhere fast in this thing. But that's not what this tank is all about. We all know that. This tank is all about that ridiculous 960 alpha damage on its high explosive shells. I mean, you can roll for 1200 with those high explosive shells. They have some pretty nice penetration too, so yeah. What is bad about the gun? Well, the rate of fire is crap, and the accuracy is crap. So yeah, you have a reload of around about 20.5 seconds on this thing. You can buff it up a bit, but I mean, it's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. But talking about that, what can you do to improve said gun? Well, equipment wise, I prefer to take a gun rammer because over calibrated shells, although calibrated shells do give you an edge on penetration. I find it to be more important that you actually get your shots in and reduce that reload as much as possible. Calibrated shells are just not worth it, if you ask me. It's more about getting the shells actually through. If you hit someone, it's not all about penetrating him. You can also just splash over and do a 400 damage. It's completely fine. So it's more like it's more like consistently hitting your shells and not actually doing a shit ton of damage with them every single time. So I would advise and prefer to take a gun rammer on this thing. Then you definitely have to take enhanced gun length drive. There's no way around this. The accuracy and the aim time is so terrible. You need this. Then I personally prefer to take vertical stabs, simply because the turret traverse and tank traverse on this thing, if you have to turn this, you at least want to keep your accuracy as much as possible. It's not like you want to fire on the move or anything, but if you're stationary, you at least want to have as tiny as possible bloom on your gun while turning a turret or turning a tank. So I would prefer, or I'd say, vertical stabilizers are better than the improved barrel, I think it's called. Then take hit points, because your armor is worth absolutely nothing, so forget about it. Take the extra hit points. Then the engine accelerator, simply because you need to you need to get as much speed out of this thing as possible, otherwise you're going to be stuck at spawn for the entire game. It's not fun. Then what you take for the rest of the equipment modules is pretty vain. I mean, this thing is blind as a bat, and about as stealthy as you'd expect from a box on tracks. I prefer to take the view range just to edge that out. For vitality, it doesn't really matter which one of the two you take. Then I prefer to take a toolbox for modular repairs over the enhanced tracks, but personal preference. Same thing goes for the last module clip here, so I don't really care. Move on to ammunition. This thing, as standard ammunition, really has the high explosive shell, but keep in mind that those AP shells can come in handy every once in a while, so I would pack some premium AP and some standard AP. Why the standard AP, you might ask? It has crap penetration, yes I know, but it has higher alpha damage, and significantly so. you can roll for 800, and with the premium MP you can only roll for 681. So do take both, because you can penetrate some targets with the standard IP that you can't penetrate with the heat rounds, 80 rounds. So it's worth it overall. Take some of both. I don't care if you take provisions. If you want to lose a shit ton of credits like me and use 10% crew mastery, then do that. But if you want to make credits, then I'd advise you not to. But this thing really needs it if you want to edge out that reload and that aiming time. It needs it, really. It really needs it. For consumables, I prefer to take 2 repair kits, but that's up to personal preference. The one thing that's not up to personal preference on this tank is your adrenaline. If you don't take adrenaline on your KV-2, you're doing something wrong. Again, to get that reload down as far as possible, because it is just so terrible. And it really is the thing that keeps this thing kind of in a corner on its own, and you're going to lose because of that terrible, terrible reload. So take the adrenaline for situations like that in particular. Other than that, not really anything else to talk about. So let's watch some Ace Tanker gameplay, shall we? So, KV-2, Black Gold Wool, I'm not top tier, and I'm platooned up with Orange. He wanted me to show him how to play this tank. So I decided to platoon up with him and kind of show him how to play the KV-2, and in this case it worked out really well. This was a really nice game we had. Not for him, but mostly for me, but doesn't really matter, does it? So, as you might have noticed, I immediately loaded the high explosive shells in this thing. Because unlike on PC, where you can rewire your keys in a way that a different type of ammunition is loaded for standard, you can't do that on Blitz, so you practically always have to press your free key to load your standard high explosive shells. And they are really your standard shells. They're the thing you should fire if you don't know what to do. The AP is only really for very, very specific circumstances. So, what's the game looking like? Well, I would have preferred to go over to the caves, because I honestly expect the enemy team to be over there. But our entire team has decided to push into the city. And, well, kind of segueing over to the next theme, how to play the KV-2. This thing is not for direct pushing or very aggressive maneuvers. You're just going to die. Don't solo, don't rush in, just take your time, go with your team, support your team, and take those opportunistic shots at people. Hide for practically all your reload. I would describe it as a support, hit and hide kind of playstyle. Only take matters into your own hand when you really, really know you can. So you're going to notice me make a huge mistake here at the beginning, doing exactly the opposite of that, and pushing out, trying to spot that MT25 over to my right. But instead, he spots me, starts to fire, doesn't get spotted in the process. I get really lucky that I bounced 2 shells of him, but still take 205 damage from him. That was a bit of a misplay right there. And I even blind fired to make the situation even worse. Had a lot of shots from other people there that could have done a shit ton of damage, but I decided to go for that blind shot. Wasn't a good idea, right? Practically showing you how to not play this vehicle. But for the rest of the game, I'm going to redeem myself, trust me. So I get robbed there, by the way. That should have been a kill, 100% of the time. I HE non-penetration no rolls ridiculously, only doing 257 damage. That's probably one of the lowest rolls I've ever seen in KV-2, which is kind of ridiculous, if you ask me. But I'm going to redeem myself later, trust me. So, what am I thinking? Well, the enemy is mostly over in the field, over by the caves, exactly where I expected them to be, and our team is kind of falling around us here in the city. And as you can see, I'm trying my opportunistic shots on people, really take the punishing here, lose over half my hit points, only do 400 in return on one of the Tiger Ps. Wasn't the greatest of scenarios there, and again I tried to push out and got punished for it like immediately. And from now on, I'm practically just going to play this entire game behind the safety of this silo, only pushing out every once in a while to take shots at people. Shut up, Discord. Anyways, as you see me trying to get a shot onto 12T here, it doesn't work. So I push back again, I don't push out, I don't push anything here. I'm looking for the opportunistic shots, looking for a shot on the VK here. No chance. Without pushing out, I immediately pull back. So yeah, again, I'm sitting here, I'm looking for the opportunistic shot. There's not really anything to say about here, right? I have to watch my team fumble around me because there's not much I can do. I would die immediately. But there you go. I found an opportunistic shot and I'm gonna take it. And wham! Bam! That was 1020 damage on the side of the KV-1S, showing you exactly what this thing is capable of. Never pull out sideways onto a KV-2 like that. That was some serious misplay right there, getting us right back into this really, really tense and tight game right here. Oh, our MT25, our T25 AT goes down. My Panzer IV isn't looking all that well, but by the way, he was an amazing teammate to play with. He really, really got us through this game. And again, as you can see, I'm not pushing out. I'm sitting here, I'm taking cover behind the silo, I'm not moving out, because if I were to move out right now, I would immediately die. Because this thing can't take a hit, and this thing is slow as hell, so you can't duck into cover quickly. So you have to take those opportunistic shots. I can't stress that enough. As you can see, my Panzer IV friend decides to push out. Bit of a really ballsy move here. And doesn't work out. Yes, he gets a shot into the Tiger P and I finish him off. But at the same time, I sadly have to say that that really ballsy moves is gonna get him killed really, really soon, because that Panzer IV, J Panther 4 was sniping in the desert over and just kill him. And there you go. I try another shot, AT shot into the 12T, and Red Respect should have probably fired one of those AP shells there, but I tried to one-shot with an AT shell, didn't work, and now I'm stuck on that awful reload. I pulled my adrenaline and it's already run out, and I'm really, really lucky here that I caught the 12T on a reload, otherwise I'd be dead. And I realized I have to kill him before he reloads, so I immediately push around. Do manage to finish him off. My sixth sense tingles. There you go. That Panzer IV is probably going to come from your left hand side. There he is. I take a shot from him, almost die in the process, and oh, is he going to finish me off? He bounces off my tracks. And I pull back and wiggle, wiggle. Yes, he misses his shell, and there you go. I finish him off with an AP shell through the lower plate. That shot right there was crucial with that AP shell. An HE shell wouldn't have cut it there. I would have just not killed him there. And that's what you need those AP shells for, to finish reliable shots like that. And it pays off in the end with that result, getting an ace tanker, steel wall, high caliber for those 3015 damage and 4 kills in this game. Absolutely carrying this team in, like, kind of dragging it over the finish line, if I want to say so myself. I got ridiculously lucky there at the end that J Panther 4 missed those 2 shells at me, otherwise I would have been dead long before that point. So yeah, kind of showing you very well how to play this vehicle. Don't push out, don't take risks, take those opportunistic shots, mostly hide from people, and only pull out if you have a reliable shot on someone. And do use those AP shells occasionally to do some reliable damage on people that you could otherwise not penetrate with your HE shells, to just maximize your DPM. And yes, I'd say I did show Orange quite nicely how to play the KV-2 here. For everyone else, I hope you've learned something today. If you, by the way, if you want me to review a certain tank, then just put it in the comment section below. If I have it in my garage, or I'm able to get it relatively quickly and I have an idea how to play it, then I may do a review on it, who knows. But other than that, that's it for today, and I shall see you all next time.